What's up, everyone? Christian Duke, the Iron Duke Speaks, episode 5, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com, your go-to source for all your bodybuilding and fitness supplements. Okay, before anything, guys, huge sale. Now until March 15th, anything you order at IronMagLabs.com, you're going to get a free bottle of ANDRO. That is absolutely huge. DHEA-based pro hormone, absolutely fantastic. Anything you get, no minimum. You buy a bottle of Dream and Grow, you get Norandro. Get a bag of Extreme Maximum Pump, get a bottle of Norandro. That's a huge deal. The other thing I really want to talk about is the mailing list, okay? So a lot of people oftentimes say, well, when's the next sale? When's the next BOGO? How can I find out about flash sales? How can I find out about new products? The answer is the mailing list. So when you go to ironmaglabs.com, I want you to join that mailing list, put your email in there, and stay up to date with absolutely everything to do with Iron Mag Labs. Okay, so first thing, Arnold Classic. Don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I was the only person that said that Brandon Curry was going to win. I didn't say he was going to be second or third or look a respectable fifth. I said he was going to win, and that's exactly what he did. And he did it on a stage shared by Roelly Winkler, shared by your 2018 Arnold Classic champion, William the Conqueror Bonac, who was on point, by the way, and he beat him too. So the reality of the matter is Brandon Curry went to Columbus with two things in mind: to chew gum and kick ass, and he left his chewing gum at home. Okay, so one thing I got to say about that though, and there's an article that's coming out in Iron Magazine, and it's all about William Bonac. And I know we're talking about Brandon Curry, but this ties in. William Bonac was a very good sport about allowing Brandon Curry to win. Okay, and I say allowing because he could have chosen to be a bad sport. We've seen examples before where a defending champion just cannot come to grips with the reality facing him. And William Bonac was a consummate professional, both on and off stage. Now, in my article for our magazine, I talk about how, when a defending champion loses the title, there's a, I don't know if it's for the fans or if it's for the press or for posterity's sake, but there's a concerted effort to be a good sport on stage. But the whole experience of a defending champion losing the title is almost like a traumatic experience as well, depending on how long that champion's held the title. Maybe Ronnie Coleman or Phil Heath, all of a sudden losing the title, totally unexpected. It can be a little bit traumatic, but at the same time, you kind of pull it together and you're a good sport on stage. That's not to say that days later off stage, maybe on interviews or the message boards, you say, well, I got robbed, or, I wasn't my best, or that guy can't beat me, or it's on for next year, because that happens a lot. But what happened here, though, was William Bonac saw that his fans were giving Brandon Curry a very hard time throughout the internet. And not just giving him a hard time, but tearing him down, as often is the case on message boards and, unfortunately, some groups and Instagram and Twitter and all that. And what Brandon did was, win a title. He fought hard, brought the best physique, posed his heart off, and he won. But, William Bonac has fans, like all the champions do, and those fans weren't ready to accept that. And some went so far as to tear Brandon Curry down. Now, what William Bonac did on his own social media platform, he didn't, give a statement to a magazine or another website, but on his own social media platform, is he went public and he said, look, Brandon Curry was the best athlete on the stage. Brandon Curry fought really hard and he won. Brandon Curry's a champion. Congratulations to the champion. And, we see that on the day of the show. We see that on stage. We don't really see that on social media. Days later, almost a week after being defeated. And when I say being defeated, William Bonac was second place. And up until the minute Brandon Curry's name was called as the winner, William Bonac could have won. William Bonac came in peeled to the bone. And a lot of people have made the case that he should have won because he had better legs. I'm not one of those people because I don't believe it's a leg show. It's a bodybuilding show, and I believe Brandon Curry won. But William Bonac made him fight hard. And William Bonac has nothing to be ashamed of. William Bonac did fantastic. So the fact that, he's doing this is huge. And that's what that article is about. Now, Roelly Winkler, on the other hand, Roelly Winkler actually had a reason for not looking good. He didn't look terrible, but he certainly didn't look the way that he did when he took third place at last year's Mr. Olympia. And honestly, he could have been second place. But, Phil Heath got second. I'm not saying that it was a total, wrong, but I'm just saying I think he could have been second. But he took third. He was the people's choice. You know what I mean? But in Columbus, did not look as good. And there was some footage of him guest posing where he was a little soft. It's okay. That's guest posing. But, you know, he pulled the big Rami. And what do I mean by that? He apologized to the fans. And I think that it's something that I also said in my article about him is that, you know, ever since Sean Fletcher Roden won the Mr. Olympia, I feel like there's a whole new sort of spirit in bodybuilding. It's a very positive spirit. It's a very humble spirit. It's a spirit where, you know, the gap between champion and fan is narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. And it's really cool. Remember Big Ramy? When Big Ramy didn't place where he wanted to at the Olympia, what did he do? He apologized. You know, some people, when you criticize them, they block you. Some people are, you know, really arrogant. I'm not going to say who, but some people, you know, but Big Ramy and Roelly, people like that who are at the top of their game, who apologize and say, look, I wasn't my best. It wasn't because I got robbed. It wasn't because of this person or that person. It was something that happened to me. And in Roelly's case, he had very, very minor knee surgery, but that minor knee surgery prevented him from training his legs to the point that he needed to be competitive at the Arnold Classic. He also got food poisoning in Nepal. And he's not the only person that got food poisoning going around the world. It's actually fairly common, not just Nepal, but just throughout the world. And it doesn't mean that the countries aren't developed. It doesn't mean that, you know, they ate necessarily bad food. They might have eaten perfectly good food, but they weren't used to eating that good food. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of cooking. There's different ingredients and different herbs and different seasonings. And, you know, I mean, you know, you go to a different country, you might not be ready for that. You know, I mean, you might actually eat perfectly good food and still get sick. So the reality of the matter is, when you have food poisoning, you can't keep water down. You know, you can't be hydrated. You can't keep food down. You can't even sleep at night. So let alone can you manipulate your calories and get on stage at the second biggest stage, the second biggest show in the sport of bodybuilding, which is the Arnold Classic USA. So again, my heart goes out to Roelly, but you know what? You know, he was honest with the fans, and he's down to earth, and he's real. And we know that Roelly's going to be back on fire at the next show, and he's going to do great at this year's Mr. Olympia. I mean, he might be next year's Mr. Olympia. Who knows? So the truth of the matter is, very, very exciting time for bodybuilding. We have some really, really positive-minded, down-to-earth, cool people like Flexitron Roden and William Bonac and Roelly, and it's just a great time. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody in particular. I'm just going to say it's a good time to be a fan of the sport of bodybuilding. And with that, I'm going to leave you. But again, remember, all purchases at Iron Mag Labs, you get a free bottle of ANDRO. Also, join our mailing list, which is absolutely important. And don't forget, my discount code, guys, IronDuke15. So when you go in there and you make a purchase and use my code, IronDuke15, you're going to save 15% off your purchase at checkout, and you're going to get a free bottle of ANDRO. How cool is that? IronMagLabs.com. Make your mark with Iron Mag Labs.